after the amazing replies and comments we've had after the last episode in the beginning of this new sequence, this new series of this new series of
feels
topics.
like films to me too.
It feels like a goddamn movie, doesn't it?
Hell yeah, superior.
Please enlighten us, O Master of the Greatness.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Weigh-In. So today's episode is titled, How to Be a Fearless Man in Relationships. So cutting this right down the middle, there's a schism in between. We're going to talk about men first. So, know what type of man you are in relationship to other men. So, if you're alpha male.
Sure.
So you exude the alpha male qualities, traits,
Yeah.
behaviors, the je ne sais quoi. Mm-hmm. You have to understand how other alpha males are going to react. So usually, an alpha male who's of mid to lower status, when they see another alpha male, it's the bucking principle.
Sure, like two rams on a hill.
Yeah, he's going to try to test you. Now, in seasoned, once again, a mature alpha male is going to evaluate,
Like inspect your prey first.
Before just going right
Sure,
in.
Sure.
That is the two ways
and
the two
smart.
alpha males are gonna react to you, and you wanna if you can't be a beta male and then pretend to be an alpha male.
You'll fail.
Or you can be a natural alpha male and then try to get into certain situations and be like, maybe I should bring it
down a little.
Because your alpha male is going to shine.
It ain't going to work, man.
Yeah, so you have to know who you are in relationship to other males is very important. And if you're one or the other, you have to just play your role. Because if you try to do anything incongruent, you're going to mess up the whole ecosystem. And there's going to be no flow anymore.
Yeah, because then you're just jumping around the whole situation. You're not really
Everybody's
getting anywhere.
confused.
So everybody's confused, and you're really full of shit.
You're full of shit.
It's almost like you're trying to pull a situation together that sort of unraveled itself in front of you.
Yeah.
You got to be who you are to be who you are.
Yeah.
Sounds redundant.
Once you're who you are, everything reconnects because you're that polarizing energy. But if you're strong energy and you're trying to be weak energy, everything falls apart even more.
Doesn't work.
If you're weak energy and try to be strong energy, everything still falls apart eventually because it can't sustain. So recognize who you are amongst other males.
Exactly. Read the floor, you know exactly where you are. If you don't, what ends up happening, the conversation dies out like right now.
Instantly.
It's like the snap in the Avengers films.
Yes.
Everything falls apart. Good point.
Yeah. The second thing is man's ego is like female emotions. Women with their emotions, they like to dive deep. They like to explore. With a man can accept a lot of things, but a man cannot accept a slight to his ego. And if he feels any disrespect to who he is as a person, his personification, what his ego is, he starts to draw back. He starts to be more sensitive than what he usually is. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to modify. And remember, this whole thing is about being fearless. So if you have to tread lightly, that's not being fearless. But if you know to tread lightly, and you tread lightly to make sure that you're taking care of your fellow man, that's being courageous. That's not bullshit. That's
actually a really good analogy.
Right,
I never looked at it that way. It's like if you have some fragility that's actually taking place, you got to know when to back off on a little bit, so that obviously you're in the same group of people you're with.
Yes.
You can't actually sink the ship, and you can't actually be bigger than the ship. There's a time when you know to bring it down a level.
Because you need the ship, and
Yeah.
you need to you need to utilize the ship. So if you sink it, you drown too.
Right. So you got to stabilize the situation right in front of you. That's not an easy task to do, but it's a legitimate task.
It's not an easy task to do, but it takes training. And
Sure.
it takes going to those different social interactions and allowing yourself to feel what's going on, but not be swayed by it. You can't let your emotions dictate how you're feeling. And for men, what I've diagnosed just watching society is the ego that really gets us.
Well,
that really
we do have an ego
fall
problem.
into
We
the
really
trap.
do. It's a fragile ego too. We are really
Very
worried about
fragile.
being slapped in the face and whatnot. But a strong male, or somebody who could succeed in the situation that we're talking about, knows how to cope with that correctly and doesn't let it become something that's going to be a detriment to his personality. I mean, nobody wants to look bad at a party or say some other dude who's got another A personality dude over there. And
Yeah, A-type.
Yeah, A-type, and he cuts you down.
Yeah.
You can't just automatically become confrontational. You need to actually know how to comment correctly.
You need to be strategic.
Yeah, and you look actually still good in the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, you're strategic in the move. You actually look better than the attitude he tried to bring
because you're
on
still
you.
maintaining that prestige that you had when you came into the confrontation, and you're like, okay, I'm being tested right now, but I'm handling it with composure. I'm handling it calm.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
it's an offensive
exude
move in a
that
strategic
alpha.
situation that you
Yes.
actually won on.
Yeah, it's I would say it's an offensive defense, and not trying to be
No, I know what you're getting at.
pseudoscience, but
So you can
like,
move forward, but you know how to back. You're defending your
hyper-strategic.
personality also at
Yes.
the same time. That's actually a hard thing to pull off, and a lot of people don't get that. They as males, we already have a tendency to get defensive in that situation.
because that's the one place that we feel like.
Our comfort zone's been jeopardized.
Yeah, like we feel exposed, so we want to cover it up
Sure.
immediately. What do you mean? I make $50,000 a year. I don't care if they're making 55. 50,000 is good. Yeah, dude, it's great.
Yeah.
Don't take it like just don't take the slight. It's okay. Don't let the ego get out of hand.
Yeah, if there's people around, like let's say potential females or whatever it might be, and girls you may be trying to impress, or somebody you'd like to actually date, if they sense you recover from that situation, you are in like our man Flint. You are like Sean Connery, James Bond.
And like Flint, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you actually you pose that question that way, because a lot of times people don't realize sometimes you can actually take a hit but pull out of it good if you're smart enough.
If you're smart, you pull out even better.
And you look even better in the long run.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I would like to say as far as men dealing with men, and it's a biblical quote: "As steel sharpens steel, man will sharpen man." As far as being a fearless man, dealing with other men in different relationships, you want to be around great men
You got to be
who are
surrounded
going
by
to sharpen
power.
you.
Sure.
They're going to cut the fat off your life and say, like, yo, you chasing this, it's not good for you. It's toxic. It's a demon. You don't want to chase that. Look at me. I'm 15 years older than you. I'm 20 years older than you. This is what you need to be chasing. Cut out that time, because time is the most precious commodity. You can't get a minute back. You can't get a second back. You can't get nothing back, okay? This is what you need to chase with the time that you have, because it's so precious. You know, they sharpen you.
Sure, you need to know who's in your team.
Yeah, men are weapons, okay? And other men, mentors, other great men, you know, they sharpen other men, and they make those men better.
Yeah.
And they allow you to be fearless. Because once you know what you need to do, you can go forward with reckless abandon. You can say, okay, I'm in this field. I can't see what's going. I know I need to go forward. Now I can go. A trusted advisor has given me, you know, a consigliere counsel has given me the information. Now I can go forward, and I know where I need to go. That's crucial information.
Shout out to Robert Duvall and The Godfather, man.
Shout out to Robert Duvall.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
got that. You a man.
I like it. No, you're dead on straight there, man. The strangest thing in the world is out there is to actually believe that your fellow compatriot, which is a male,
Yes.
is actually going to be in your camp. He's going to be the guy you need to rely on. If you can accept that, like, you're going to be better in the long run, because if you don't accept it, you're just going to either be arrested or beat down by a bouncer or whatever it might be, or even lose the woman you're trying to pick up.
Yeah.
You got to know when you can trust the person who's on your team.
And once you
And I do.
and when you have that trust, you become better. I trust you with every cell in my body.
Sure, man.
You know, so I know when you're taking us in the direction, you have a vision, and it's going to work out. Maybe it doesn't work out immediately, but I've known you long enough. I've seen your track record long enough where I trust your long vision. So I'm like, Emil's got this. Emil's got this. Senior's got this.
Yeah, sometimes the
Yeah.
long range.
And you don't see it at first.
Not at first, you won't see it. You have to have confidence in the fact that that person gave you a long-term goal, which is obvious is there. It's reality. It's legit. It's going to happen. You can't automatically feel like, oh, it didn't happen in a day or two. No, the person says it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, if you spout out stuff that doesn't work, eventually people are going to realize that you're phony. So you cannot use that adjective if it's not legitimate, because then you're just talking shit. Whenever you tell me certain things, I know it's legit because I have confidence in you. You're not steering me wrong down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Switching over to women.
Oh. Unpack that.
Yeah.
That's complicated.
Yeah. So, the first thing, which is very important, which may not seem important, but just because you're coming from the rose-covered glasses, you know, you need to assess if you're a threat with a woman or not. You need to know if that woman views you as a threat or as somebody that's safe. That's crucial for everything. Everything starts from that. And like men seem to lose the fact or the recognition that we're dangerous. We're strong. Men are naturally strong. They're naturally, they have the power to break things and to build things, but the breaking of those things takes power. And that power that we naturally have can be used and has been used historically sometimes to oppress women. So as a man, you need to not display beta characteristics, but you need to let a woman know that you're safe, that you're not a threat. That's crucial. Because as long as the idea that you're a threat is looming in the fringe of a woman's mind, you're never going to get heart to heart with that woman.
Oh, I think you're right on that exactly. That's actually that's probably the most poignant situation you've brought up in this particular episode.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys have a hard time coping with that. I mean that's a challenging question for me to even reply to.
Some guys have that natural testosterone buildup, that natural bravado, but they don't understand that sometimes they have to tone it down. You know, and it doesn't mean that sometimes a woman's in a relationship where like she's fearful of that, or sometimes a woman is not fearful, but she's like worried. She's seen, you know, videos, documentaries, you know, episodes of talk shows or wherever where women have gotten abused. So that's in her mind. So she's aware of it. As a man, you need to be double aware of it and make sure that you're taking the proper steps to say, hey, I'm safe. I will never hurt you. You know, and you have to stick to that. Because a man that physically beats a woman or physically beats somebody that's weaker than them is not a man.
No, it's not a man at all. It's a coward.
That's a coward.
It's actually a coward. If you can master that aspect of what you were just talking about, you should never have any problems with the opposite sex forever.
That's key.
It really is key. And it's a complicated thing because a lot of people don't have an understanding of how to do that. You know, again, it boils down to males being a little bit too headstrong sometimes, not realizing when they need to back off a little bit.
You know, when you're on a love boat, you know where you're going. Just take the cruise.
I love that analogy, man.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So the second thing I want to talk about is that with women, there's an inner circle, there's a mid circle, and there's an outer circle.
Sure.
So, like, you want to say inner circle, your daughter, your cousins, nieces, aunts, mothers, you know, women, you know, like wife, spouse, life partner, girlfriend, women who are in this inner circle. And human beings, we all work off tapestries, frameworks, mental models. So, you know, all the women in my inner circle, automatically, I treat with respect.
That's what I've heard.
I treat them with integrity.
Sure.
I maintain the ethics that I would have with every human being that I would come across with. So maybe people in your mid-circle, you don't trust as much. So there's a little bit of scrutiny. There's a lens on these people. There's a microscope on these people, you know. You're falling back and then you're putting this telescope on these people because you want to vet out these people. Because you don't naturally know them. You didn't grow up with them. You don't know their every nuance. So, like, you don't allow people to come in as quickly and as deep. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, you got to be cautious.
You got to be cautious. You got to protect yourself, you know. Then there's the outer layer, you know, of women that you just deal with, you know, whether it's the cashier at a bank, at a coffee shop, at a supermarket, you know, at a clothing retail chain, you know, or, you know, maybe she's your psychologist, your life coach. She's the outer. You still treat her with the same respect that you would give a human being because you're a decent human being, but you don't let her completely in. And even if you're in a situation where you're paying her to let her in, you don't let her in. So you have to understand how you feel about that woman and how far you're willing to let those people in. So going into the last thing, there's logical rationale versus emotional rationale. And we're dealing with two different genders, two different sexes, two different psychologies, two different personalities, and we all tend to weigh and lean on different sides at different times. You have to understand when you're in your logical rationale, when the other person is in their logical rationale. You have to understand when you're in your emotional rationale, when the other person is in their emotional rationale. Your logical rationale is going to be more precise, and it's going to try to get to an outcome, as quickly as possible. Conversely, your emotional rationale is going to try to weigh out the problem and really get deep into the question. And they're not so much focused on the answer as much as they are in understanding the full meaning of what's going on. It's two different things. It's two heavy things, And wherever one side leans or one side doesn't lean, and everybody's different, you need to understand if you're in your emotional rationale and how that weighs against a person's logical rationale, or if you're in your logical rationale and how that weighs against a person's emotional rationale.
You have summed it up succinctly. I love it. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic episode. Whew. Wow. Amazing. Good job, buddy.
My man. Shit, today was special. Tonight was special.
It was good.
It was a Monday. We recorded on a Monday.
A Monday.
Shit.
No, I thank you very much for bringing a lot of this information out to the public, and you always dazzle me. And I wish I could have interjected, but there's nothing to say because you said it perfectly.
You helped me out. You did. You my brother.
No, bro.
The weigh-in.
Weigh-in.
Still got time?
We still got time, man. We got about 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Dude, what the fuck?
Every fucking time, dude.
I don't really have much of a solution for that except for just try to listen to people and hang with people who are intelligent, who could bring good conversation to your group, whatever that might be. Just don't take everything so obviously as what they tell you it is.
Yeah, and double check and triple check. Like when I go to check any information, I never just check from one source.
Yeah.
Or one outlet. I always go at least 5 different outlets, especially with the level of importance. If it's highly important, if it's close to the vest, then I may take 10 different outlets to make sure that I can get something that's congruent where, in this little test of mine, I keep getting the same outcome and knowing it's not a fluke. Okay, this information is good.
Well, there is a lot of intelligent people such as yourself who are actually spewing this type of data, but the people don't like it because it's not like I said, it's not a headline. It's not as dynamic and exciting. But sometimes, just like in school, the most knowledgeable information is not the most exciting.
Yeah, it's not the sexiest.
Yeah, it's not the sexiest. And people just don't like it.
Drink water. That's not sexy, but
it works.
But it works.
The next topic is the depletion of basic resources. And I think possibly the most important factor of the pressures of this changing America are the things that we take for granted. And some of the things that I have singled out here, we'll go through little by little, is first off, it's food. It sounds very simple. But the common foods that are vastly becoming harder to produce, even though it seems to be as if they're not having any problems. They're always out there. You've got your tomatoes, you've got your oranges, whatever it might be. But there's a lot of work, scientific work going on to provide the food for the massive quantity of people. We take it for granted in America because obviously it's a society that has more money, basically. But it's not easy to do it. And I think then there's the food chain trickle-down effect, which is another thing. I coined this phrase because I think it sounds pretty cool. Everything we eat comes with a cost, be it health, resources of the product of the food, and the effect on the planet.